Libya is a country located in North Africa along the Mediterranean Sea, boasting a rich and diverse history. The region was once an Italian colony from 1934 to 1943, leaving a lasting imprint on the cultural and historical landscape. Africa faces a significant deficit in access to clean drinking water. However, the Libyan government aimed to distinguish itself by seizing the opportunity to initiate a project considered the eighth wonder of the world. Over 90% of Libya's territory is comprised of arid and desert lands. It stands out as one of the few countries globally and the only one in Africa without a natural river. This geographical characteristic has profound implications for the nation's environment, people, and economy. In some areas, the absence of rainfall for extended periods has created challenging conditions. The Great Man-Made River, recognized as the world's largest network of underground pipelines, stands as a remarkable engineering feat. Comprising 1,300 wells with depths ranging from 80 to 400 meters, this ambitious project delivers approximately 3 million cubic meters of drinking water daily to cities such as Tripoli, Benghazi, and Sirte, a truly staggering amount. While the Sahara Desert may seem like the last place to look for water, appearances can be deceiving. In the mid-20th century, Libyans exploring for oil beneath the Sahara stumbled upon an underground reservoir of drinking water. This water source covers as much as 770,000 square miles. This area is comparable to the Baltic Sea, an inland sea on the continental shelf in northern Europe. The idea for the Great Man-Made River emerged in the late 1970s, when sources of drinking water for Benghazi became contaminated with seawater, rendering them unfit for consumption. At that point, the quest for new water sources became an urgent priority. In the first phase, hundreds of wells were drilled in the Tizibu and Sarir fields, extracting water from depths of around 500 meters. Subsequently, the water was transported through underground pipelines to the Ajdabia Reservoir. This reservoir was filled in 1989 and became a pivotal point from which drinking water was distributed westward to Sirte and northward to Benghazi. In the second phase, a 1,600-kilometer dual pipeline was constructed, capable of transporting 2 million cubic meters of water daily. The second phase, aimed at supplying the capital Tripoli, was completed 5 years later, achieving a capacity of 2.5 million cubic meters of water per day. The third phase, concluded in 2009, included an additional 1,200 kilometers of pipelines. The system's capabilities from the first phase were expanded by adding 700 kilometers of new pipelines, pump stations, and increasing water supplies to 3.68 million cubic meters per day. Additionally, Tobruk was integrated into the network, allowing access to water from the Al Jabab oasis. Achieving this task required constructing another reservoir and adding 500 kilometers of pipeline. Subsequent stages aimed to further enhance the system's capabilities from the first phase and ultimately connect pipelines from the first and second phases. The completed Great Man-Made River was intended to span 4,000 kilometers and transport 6.5 million cubic meters of water daily. Unfortunately, this vision was not realized due to the events of 2011. The civil war in Libya erupted in opposition to the long-standing rule of Muammar al-Gaddafi. Protests commenced on February 15, 2011, evolving into a domestic conflict and NATO intervention. Following successful revolutions in Tunisia and Egypt, Libya experienced uprisings starting in January 2011. NATO intervened by imposing a no-fly zone over Libya. The conflict raged on multiple fronts, with rebels gaining control of the eastern part of the country. On July 22, 2011, NATO air forces bombed the factory in Marsa al-Barajka, which produced pipeline components. The reason cited was the alleged presence of missile launchers within the facility. This event marked a significant setback for the project, highlighting the challenges and complexities associated with large-scale infrastructure initiatives in regions of geopolitical instability. Muammar al-Gaddafi, who had been captured earlier, was killed. The new authorities officially declared the liberation of Libya in Benghazi on October 23, 2011. This day is recognized as the conclusion of the civil war. However, the project is still not finished, even though its implementation has been going on for decades, but it is still being implemented. An intriguing facet of this project lies in its financing. The investment in the Great Man-Made River Project amounted to, according to various sources, somewhere between $24 to $33 billion for Libya. Muammar Gaddafi orchestrated the financing of the project without resorting to external loans, a feat made possible by the nation's wealth derived from the lucrative export of crude oil. Muammar Gaddafi's ability to fund the project independently underscores the financial autonomy that Libya enjoyed during his regime, primarily driven by the country's significant revenues from oil exports. Gaddafi's decision to allocate substantial resources to the Great Man-Made River Project, despite its colossal scale and associated costs, was emblematic of his strategic vision to address crucial issues such as water scarcity and infrastructure development within the country. Under the governance in Libya, farmers benefited from various provisions, receiving land, seeds, and equipment with the expectation of quick returns. It was believed that this investment would yield profitable outcomes. However, Libya faced a scarcity of arable land, and the creation of the Great Man-Made River was envisioned as a solution to this challenge. Approximately 70% of the water resources provided by the Great Man-Made River were utilized in agriculture. This system facilitated the establishment of large farms, enabling the cultivation of crops such as wheat, citrus fruits, and vegetables. There were plans to irrigate 150,000 hectares of new land in the northern regions of Libya. The agricultural landscape in Libya underwent significant transformations with the implementation of this irrigation system, allowing for the cultivation of diverse crops and the expansion of arable land. The strategic vision was centered on addressing the limitations posed by the arid environment and fostering agricultural sustainability through innovative water management. In essence, the initiatives undertaken aim to enhance agricultural productivity and contribute to food security by leveraging the water resources provided by the Great Man-Made River. This intricate system played a pivotal role in creating opportunities for large-scale farming, diversifying crops, and potentially transforming the agricultural landscape in northern Libya. Despite these problems, the project continues, and the Great Man-Made River supplies Libyans with drinking water, also delivering it where previously its only source was imports and seawater desalination plants. The visionary project has the transformative power to turn parts of the arid Sahara into a green, livable area, significantly enhancing the overall quality of life for the local population. The endeavor not only addresses the immediate need for water, but also represents a bold step towards sustainable development, fostering a more resilient and thriving ecosystem in the region. The Great Man-Made River was a monumental engineering endeavor. Can it be considered a wonder of the world? It's challenging to definitively say. Nevertheless, it represented hope for Libya's development, though this aspiration didn't materialize due to unfavorable events in the second decade of the 21st century. The English name, Great Man-Made River, perfectly captures the essence of this monumental project, emphasizing both its magnitude and the result of human effort, both physical and intellectual. Undoubtedly, Gaddafi's project was an impressive achievement. What do you think about it? If you want to comment on this topic, feel free to visit the comment section. But for now, thank you for watching, and we encourage you to subscribe and click the like button. We also invite you to watch our other videos.